Buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, and the love and support you guys extend towards me from the corazón. Gracias. Also, do please like, share, and subscribe. Well, to get into the topic on here today I want to speak on a Billy that, well, he's not known, period, right? To a lot of people's awareness. There's very few that know him, right? And I'm speaking on him more so because he's out now doing his thing, right? Big time, right? To what extent, I'll let you guys put it together, right? But basically, I want to touch on his struggles, right? He's just one out of quite a few of them that had them struggles. But this one's a little, I could say unique because it happened with Gangster with Avenues, right? But it happened from his own people, right? The senor is from his neighborhood. And before I get into it, my apologies. I looked and looked under his name, Placaso, for a picture, as I usually do, at least show you who I'm speaking on, right? But again, I couldn't find one, right? I don't know. How do I say it? I don't know them places where people pay to find pictures, nothing. Everything I share with you guys is public records, right? And if I talk about a neighborhood, more so it's that's the pictures you're gonna see, right? Not because I'm speaking on them, it's because I'm referring to the area, the neighborhood in that sense, right? But again, it's what I find, right? But anyways, I couldn't find one, so my apologies for it. But again, I want to talk about Sniper from Onterio, Black Angels. This camarada, he was known for many years, right? Being with the business, right? He was doing a lot of things for D, right? For Monterio. It's how his name came across my orejas, right? A few times, cause again he was doing his thing, right? For his senores. And I'm not gonna say the problem where things went south. I believe was when he hit Adwater, right? And he was part of that big wave that Rube tried to cover himself with. The more members he made, the more members he was going to have on his side. Decision time or, you know, argument time or whatever, because he was their padrino. So as you guys know, he made Lalo, well, many, including Sniper. Then set well with a lot of Billys in the feds. Not to minimize a lot of Billys in the state, right? That he did this not only took it upon himself to do so. A lot of them didn't have the qualities per se, right? He basically just had his little road dog back his play and they blessed him in. Instead of doing the whole cha-cha the way they were supposed to, right? Which is run it through the clica, right? In this case, the feds, right? The vato sitting in the thing, he just made them. Not gonna say they didn't deserve it, because again, this Kamaran specifically, he was doing these things for many, many years, right? But anyways, when the things hit the fan, right? As you guys know, a lot of things happen with Rue. This was one of them. Him feeling he was above the rest of the carnales, and the other one was couldn't defend himself, right, with the mess when they were out to pull his wig, right, and the camaradas that's what we're there for got in between and they lost their life, right. You hear a lot of this he said she said that they killed a Pili and a Mexican mafia member. No, they were both campuleros, sureños, and they were out to kill Rube, right. The bottom line is he was getting too old. The way he pushed himself on the yard, he just couldn't back it up no more, right. That's why he started surrounding himself, I believe, with younger blood, right. But anyways, when they separated is when the problems came, right. In my opinion, they shouldn't have came. Like I said, the homie was doing his thing. He was well deserved, right. More so though, the Pili that things started off of was his homeboy, right. But he was supposed to be no good. And I'm speaking about, Mondo or from Black Angels. Those that don't know, right. That's when the feds is considered trash, and he's still calling cuetados in the, I mean, in the state he's considered trash, and in the feds he's still good standings throwing cuetazos, right? You know, I believe Kenny had a lot to do there, right? But again, I don't know the full story behind that, right? So, anyways, Mando started pressing on his own homeboy that he just didn't deserve it. You know, they had already allowed a couple of them slide back that roommate, and they honored that, right? But they failed, and when I mean they, you know, the ones that came up with the decision wasn't even the committee, right? It was Kenny, Juan, and Mando that he just wasn't ready, right? He had to wait his turn. So, you know, a lot of people say, what they want to say, right? But, you know, you got to give these individuals respect, you know, because Sniper as gangster, they refused it. Again, they've been doing their thing for many years, but it's just something we're not doing in the open, right? Which is going against a Pili, whoever, whichever Pili's word or what he says, right? And of course, that came with them getting hit the first time, right? And you're gonna sit down and wait. You know, there's a lot of people that get butt hurt when this happens, especially by those that are supposed to be from your barrio. Instead of welcoming you into that clique because you took that extra step, they're the ones pushing to tear you down, right? But he maintaining the program, kept doing his thing. But once you're there and you backtrack, however you do it, right? It's not by choice. You never looked at the same. I want to tell a story about another camarada from Pacas, right? That similar things happen like this in the state, but when it's Pilis weren't out yet, right? But anyways, he was being looked at by a loop, right? More so by Kenny. You know, started with Mondo and whatever they're doing behind the scenes. Kenny pushed Mondo's play to the fullest. You know, he was looking at him wherever he went, you know, with the loop. And it's sad to say you're on home, we're waiting for you to slip to take your career, right? And Homewood kept pushing. You know, when it all began again, we're talking 2007, 2008. This is before Sherm took off on Negro, right? Because Sherm had a lot of play into Rue feeling he could make battles, right, on his own. Anyways, so time went by, and the last time I heard, he got into some stuff, right, that in reality it shouldn't even have became an issue, right? Which is they were in a yard and programming whatever they were doing, and different race put hands on a camarada. As all everybody has heard from many different angles, right? Raza's untouchable in the system, and if you do so, we all get up, you know, and boogie, no questions asked. Where's what happened, right? Put hands on a camarada. Everybody got up. I guess the first one in though was Sniper, right? Cause it's always been a fool, as I heard. And then it became an issue, right? They were circling his name around to get removed, right? By this time, Sniper had gotten picked up strength. What I mean is, do things for G.I. Joe, Big Joe, Sana. You know, I heard he touched base with Shy. So there's a lot more people that weren't in agreement with what was going on. The homie never complained though, right? He kept pushing. And about a year before I got out the feds is when they circled back around that all of a sudden Kenny was interested in Sniper because he found out who his family member is, right? Or was, excuse me. He ain't around no more, but he was a big man in Tamaulipas, right? And he still had a lot of family out there that could put things together, you know, and he did so. To what extent, I heard, but there's no reason for he said, she said, right? When we were on the yard, you know, I was sitting with Sana and Frankie from Santana, and it got brought up to us that homeboy had his name's been circled back around to get blessed because of what he can bring to the table, right? And they okayed it, so he became a carnal again. Now, from then now, he's he's doing big waves, right? In the feds and especially out here, you know, from a whole new angle, right? Because, again, one of the founders of the last letters is a direct family member. You guys get what I'm trying to say. So there ain't too much out there, so that's why I'm tippy toeing around, putting things out. So I apologize, right? But anyways, but it's funny how the circles turns around, right? Cause there's a young homie as we speak from Ontario that met him in Tehachapishu, seen him again in Pelican Bay shoe. He's been validated 2001, I believe, 2002 and up. And what's a lifer in the state? And the only way I think he got moved up there was through a Rico case, right? Whatever, you know how they do it. And his name got put up. And as we speak, the one stopping it is Sniper. So it goes back to Klecha. And what we get put aside, there's this myth that for our manhood or to prove ourselves, we have to do so in prison, right? Which is BS. Think about it. You're in a system where they're taking your stuff, insulting family, at all times stating that you and your neighborhood are paying for your protection from these individuals when in reality, come on. You know, and at the same time, that you come to know on the streets, you know, are the one thing trying to stomp you in the dirt, trying to take you from growing in the system, which is your own homeboys. So I guess it's the little glimpse in the message on this one, right? I always say be smart. You know, loyalty should go to those that are loyal to you, that you know they have love for you. Because facts are facts. Even in your own neighborhood, there is those snakes that are always going to spread poison. You could be out in your neighborhood and you remember a homeboy, and that fool always thought he was a level 10 or a Mike on right with Feria, whatever, and he always looked down on camaradas from his own neighborhood. How you think he's gonna act once he's reached a pedestal? You see the funny way about prison in general is once a camarada gets up there, even before, right, when they're playing their cards to get up there, for some reason they always target their own neighborhood. It makes no sense to me, right? That's the one thing they speak about, blood in, blood out, loyalty overall. But what's the one thing before you went into prison that you did the same for? To lay that down at the door and follow a stranger's, a dope fiend or dope fiend mentality, however you want to say it, rules and regulations, mood swings. The system ain't no more about maintaining raza. Look around, there ain't no more wars, which is great, right? But all it is now is, hey, I want you to go over there, F your date up, go stab him up, cause he don't want to break my dope in. Oh, go screw your board date, your release date, go whack that fool. Remember how we like it though. Gotta take his wing or I'm gonna take yours. What's the cause behind it? He don't want to force his feet to bring in Holland. He don't want to break in team packages with me. That's how much you're worth. The system is based on chasing Atecatos dope money at whatever cost. It ain't what it used to be, even in my times, right? But a little bit of clecha has never been what people ask myself I want, paint it out to be. Again, I go back to our mind being our worst enemy. We tend to line up things to pump us up to continue in them. And by this I don't mean weenie out, tell, nada, chales. Again, if you're there, boogie, and your business, you're already there, no backtracking, right? But if you have a chance, don't allow lies to inflict your head. You know who's real in your neighborhood, who's not. I'll go as far as you know who's real in your family and who's not, right? Then tell me if our mind ain't our worst enemy. Because we go in and we listen to people that if we sit down and listen to for an hour, we know they ain't real. With this, I say smart, stay true to your neighborhood. Yes, to your loved ones, of course. You made promises, you're on the street, but you made promises on the inside. Keep palabra. Palabra is your weight as a person, right? But at the end of the day, stay smart. Stay true to yourself and loyal to loved ones.